Ask will tell you today that while there is a considerable amount of discontent with the current PLP administration, it's fair to say that it exists. The Free National Movement is not seen as a viable option at all.
I don't agree that it isn't a viable option. I believe that what we need to do is that what is a fracture within the Free National Movement today, we have to get our act together.
But when? When? I mean, we're almost a year from an election.
We've got to do it and do it soon. We have to make sure that those persons in the Free National Movement who have different points of views must find common ground.
But isn't that the leader's job?
And that becomes more important for the leader to make sure that he grabs hold of the party and brings everybody under the one big tent. We are unable to win an election if we are fractured. And our history has proven that. Proven that in 1977.
82?
It proved that in 82.
87 was not as bad.
Not as bad,
right.
But certainly 77 and 82.
And so the Free National Movement haven't learned this lesson.
Well, the Free National Movement is learning its lesson. If it is to win the next election, it has to find common ground, unite under one leadership, and move forward and change the dynamics of politics in our country, but also change for the better the future of our country.
What you speak about, recently, the party had a chairmanship election. There has been a call for a convention, which I don't think the party has had a real convention in the sense of having, it's had elections, but having a full-fledged convention, not since the last general election. Is there any plans to have a convention, to have leadership questions settled? Are you aware of any plans to do that?
The national the council, the council has just voted very recently to have its convention, a full convention, in November, as is required under the Constitution.
But you haven't. They haven't even followed the party's constitution, and in having yearly conventions or biannual.
We had a convention in November last year.
Year before last.
Year before last.
And prior to that, when was the last one?
Prior to that was June. Well, prior to that was during the elections of 2002.
So there was an extended period where you
time.
didn't have that.
Yeah. But you know, and I do not compare us with the Progressive Liberal Party, because just because they do something wrong, I don't use that as the excuse. I believe that we should follow the Constitution, and in our Constitution we should have a convention every 2 years. It's not every year.
Right. But
from November of a year ago to November of this year,
we'll make 2 years.
We'll make
Point
2
taken.
years. Yes.
Point taken. But some in your organization have said that flatly the reason why there's been this drag and delay in having a convention is because the current administration of the party is concerned about maintaining the status quo until you get so close enough to a general election that they will be able to say it's too late to make any changes. I know that doesn't. I know you can't necessarily address that, but I put it to you.
No, I could address it. Okay. I'd like to address
sure.
it. We either believe in democracy or we don't. If our Constitution says that the elections are to be held every 2 years, if we had one in November and the 2 years ends in November of this year, then that's where we ought to. Or we should go to and have a special a special meeting at which the council make that decision.
Okay.
But the council made the decision to go there.
Fine.
And so it's just that they're being following the Constitution. Now, there are some people who believe that by having another convention, moving it earlier, we may have a change of leadership. And if we do, it might be a leadership that might certainly change the dynamics. But I ask this question, what if you had it and you had the same results?
Last question for you, because I know we're running out of time, but
Sure.
I had to get this in.
Please.
The rumor mill has it that former Prime Minister Ingram is coming back. What say you? And would you support him if he does?
I have always had the greatest respect in his integrity and what he says. I listened to him on 3 separate occasions when this question was put to him in public, and he responded that he was not coming back.
Didn't he say that in 2007, before 2007?
What he said in 2007, well, what he said in
Prior to that.
what he said in 92, rather than 2007, is that in 92 he said that he was in favor of a 2-term only.
Yes.
And that was his view.
Mr. Smith,
he was drafted and he
we
came
have
back.
completely run out of time. It has been extremely informative. It's been great having you here today, and I'm sure that our viewing public is much more informed, especially from a historical perspective. And I hope to have you back in the future. Thanks again.
Let me thank you very much, and I'd certainly be very pleased to return at your insistence.
Thanks again. This has been another edition of Nation Building.